In today's lecture, we will be studying about drag and lift forces, that is the role of drag and lift forces in fluid mechanics. So, if you see, whenever we feel a close breeze onto our faces, then it gives a very soothing feeling to our hearts, but we never ever thought about the science behind it. So, let us go into the deep for this particular phenomenon. Coming to the concept, or beginning with the concept of drag and lift. Whenever a body moves through a moving fluid, it is acted upon by two forces exerted by the flow upon it, and those are shear force and pressure force. Now, when these pressure forces are resolved, when these shear or pressure forces are resolved, they are termed into two components, that are drag force and lift force. After resolving, these drag and lift will be having their corresponding values, that is the resultant of force and shear forces acting in the direction of flow will be termed as drag force, and the shear force, shear or the pressure force acting normal to the direction of flow is termed as lift force. As you can see in the diagram, this is flow, this is the direction of flow, acting in the direction of flow, this is termed as drag force, and perpendicular to it is termed as lift force. Now, coming to the drag force is the force acting or exerted by a moving body in a fluid medium, and then this drag force does not try to turn this object, but it simply slows down, and it is also a function of this particular drag force is a function of, or it is dependent on the speed of the body, the size and shape of the body, and the fluid through which it is moving. This is how drag force work, or how it works, how you can see how it look like by this simple diagram. Coming to the lift force, it represents a force that acts perpendicular to the direction of relative motion between the fluid and the body. Again, in the same diagram you can see, if this is the direction of fluid flow and there is a body, then it acts perpendicular to it. It acts perpendicular to the direction relative motion between the fluid and the body. It is created by different pressures on opposite side of the blunt body due to boundary layer separation. Now, we will be discussing what is blunt body and what is streamlined body once we are finishing with this introduction portion. And since we know that Bernoulli's equation proves that, or Bernoulli stated that pressure is inversely proportional to the velocity. Therefore, you can see that fast relative velocity will tend to have lower pressure, while slow relative velocity will have higher pressure. This is how this lift force looks like. It acts perpendicular, and you can just visualize it. Moving to the daily examples, daily life examples, you can see that this is cross pollination, and it is also having a drag and lift section, and then windmills, again drag and lift forces being seen with their proper contribution. Next one is RBC transportation in the human body. Coming to the merits of the drag. Now, coming to the merits of drag, you can see that existence of drag leads to various phenomenon happening in our day to day life, like parachuting is made possible only due to drag. You can see this. The motion of submarine is due to drag force acting on the body immersed in water bodies. This is related to drag, and see, this is the drag force, this is the thrust, and this is the lift force acting over it. But merits, while discussing the merit of drag, we can see that generation of power using turbine mills is also the result of the drag. Now, drag force acts as a tool to achieve the mechanical responses. Coming to the type of bodies, or you can see that in our previous slide we have seen this different pressure on the opposite sides of a blunt body. So, we will be discussing what is blunt body or types of body within drag and lift. So, there are basically two types of bodies, streamlined bodies and blunt bodies. Streamlined bodies are nothing but their shape is in such a way that it lowers the friction between the fluid like water and air, and objects keep on moving through that particular fluid. You can see that it started over here and its shape lowers the friction between the fluid, and then the object keeps on moving. Here you can see that the object keeps on moving through this particular fluid. But vice versa, if we talk about blunt bodies, then blunt bodies is one of that results in the separation of the fluid like substantial part of its surface. And here you can see that for this section you can see there is a separation section you can visualize particularly. So, this particular body formation will be termed as blunt body. Coming to the flow over a body. Now, these were the two types of bodies, streamlined bodies and blunt bodies. Now, coming how the flow over these bodies come over. So, coming to the first one, two dimensional fluid flow. The fluid over a body is said to be two dimensional only and only when the body is very long and of constant cross sectional area and the flow is normal to the body. There are three parameters to be remembered, that is the body is very long and it has a constant cross sectional area plus the flow is normal to the body, and this pattern will be known as two dimensional fluid flow. Coming to the axis symmetric fluid body, wherein the flow possesses rotational symmetry about an axis in the flow direction. You can see axis symmetry means it will be related to the axis. So, you can see the flow in which the body possesses rotational symmetry about an axis, that too in the direction of flow, will be termed as axis symmetry fluid flow. Now, we have done with the two dimensional fluid flow and axis symmetry fluid flow. Coming to the third one, three dimensional fluid flow. So, three dimensional fluid flow is nothing but the flow or the flow over a body which is not categorized either as two dimensional flow or as axis symmetric fluid flow, then it will be categorized as three dimensional fluid flow. Here you can see flow over a body that cannot be modeled as two dimensional flow or axis symmetry, then that particular flow over the body will be termed as three dimensional fluid flow. Coming to the pressure and form drags. Pressure and form drag further will be divided into two parts, that is shear or skin drag friction and another one is pressure or form drag friction. So, the part of the drag that is due to directly to the wall of the stretch, or you can say the part of the drag that is due to directly to the walls of the stretch. Here you can see is termed as friction flow. Here coefficient of drag is termed as force due to friction, force due to drag force by 0.5, or you can say drag force or force due to drag divided by 0.5. Rho is the density of the fluid, V is the average velocity and A is the cross sectional area. This will be nothing but coefficient of drag. This is how you can calculate the skin friction. Coming to the pressure or form drag, there you can see that the part which is directly due to pressure while in the flow, the part of the drag that is directly due to pressure, that is termed as this is form drag or pressure drag, and it can also be calculated with the same formula but different value, that is CD coefficient of drag is equivalent to force due to drag by 0.5 rho V square into A. This is how you can calculate pressure and form drag. Now, coming to the dependency of this shear drag, or you can say on what all factors do the shear drags depend. So, counting one by one we can see or we can discuss the orientation of the body, affects the shear drag. How is the orientation of the body? Next is the magnitude of the wall shear it is having or it is possessing, then the viscosity of the fluid through which it is flowing, Reynolds number of the fluid, that is the ratio of inertia by viscous force, and then platform surface area which you are having or which you are covering. Then next one is surface roughness under turbulence condition. You need to have a condition, you need to have a category if the surface roughness under turbulence condition varies from one point to another point. So, these are the points which are the major factors for calculating the shear drag, that is its orientation, magnitude, viscosity, Reynolds number, surface area and surface roughness. Coming to the dependency of pressure drag. Basically, it becomes significant only when the fluid is velocity is very high, else it is being neglected. And after this, if you are calculating this pressure drag, then there you can see it depends on the layer separation, how much it is being separated, and again the orientation of the body. Let us discuss about the role of drag and lift or the flight of an aeroplane. Both will be giving the same phenomenon, and once we are discussing about the flight of an aeroplane, there we can see this drag and lift forces being calculated and they play a very vital role. That is, if you basically see the wings of any airplanes are always streamlined so as to minimize the drag force, that is along the direction of movement of the plane experienced by it, and maximize the lift force. If the lift force will be maximized, the plane will be keeping on the elevated surface, and when this drag force will be minimum, it will not keep it on the horizontal surface. And then you can see the wing inclined at an angle of 5 degree. This inclination you can see from horizontal represented by alpha, and this alpha is generally between 5 to 15 degree, and 5 degree we can take, and this particular angle is known as angle of attack. Now, again you can see in case of turbulent flow, you can see pressure drag dominates over shear, which is reduced simply by reducing the frontal surface area. If you have reduced the frontal surface area, the drag force dominating over the shear will be dominated, and hence in turns the boundary layer separation will be coming to the phenomenon, thus it is minimizing the pressure force. Here you can see that at the upper section lower pressure is caused by the increased speed of the air over the wing. Over this wing, increased speed of the air is being causing low pressure, while in the bottom you can see that the pressure is higher beneath this wing pressure is higher because the wing is pushed upward, and this keeps, since the bottom portion is having the higher pressure, so it keeps the body moving in upward direction, and lower pressure causes the increase in the actual speed of the plane, and this is how you can see the flight of an aeroplane takes place. Coming to the flow separation and formation of wake, this is another three different regions we can discuss within the same phenomenon, drag and lift. There you can see two terms are there, flow separation and formation of wake. Formation of wake, you can see this term, in which region and what phenomenon we have defined wake as. And then you can see when a blunt body obstruct the path of a fluid, the flow layer enables to remain in contact with the surface, which gets separated and results in the formation of wake region. So, if you can see this, the flow was this blunt body means a body which keeps separating because of the obstruction came in between, and here you can see this is making a blunt body and this is a streamlined body. Blunt body and this is streamlined body. And here you can see that when blunt body obstruct the path of a fluid flow, this blunt body has obstructed the path of this fluid flow which was going, the flow layer unable to remain, the contact in surface gets. So, here you can see that these layers get separated, they were not in contact with each other, and hence they result, the moment where they are not in contact with each other, they result in a separation of region, and that separated region is known as wake region. So, this portion where these lines you can see are being separated, it is termed as wake region. And then the fluid recirculate again in low pressure. When low pressure comes, the fluid recirculate in low pressure in the weighing region only. Here you can see recirculation is there, and the phenomenon is known as vortexing. This recirculation of low pressure of wakes is known as vortexing. The point where the flow separates is known as separation point. So, here you can see it has started separating. So, this point is termed as separation point. Next you can see the wake phenomenon results in the formation of high and low pressure regions at opposite ends of the body. You can see at one end the pressure is high, at another end the pressure is low. So, it results in the high and low pressure ends of the body, thus it increases the pressure drag acting on the entire body. Drag force, this was about the drag which we were discussing in general. One formula we have covered for calculating pressure drag and form drag, or skin friction and form drag, there you can see. So, coming to now the drag force on a sphere or spherical particles acting, drag acting on a spherical particles. So, according to Navier-Stokes, all those spheres having Reynolds number less than 0.2 or equivalent to less than or equivalent to 0.2 will be equivalent to 3 pi mu du. That is, Navier-Stokes gives an empirical relationship between the drag force and the particle size whose Reynolds number is less than 0.2. There you can see 3 pi is giving a constant, mu will be the viscosity of the fluid over here, and d is the diameter of this sphere, and u is the this velocity, uniform velocity or the velocity over this entire field. This is how you can calculate the drag force over a sphere, but make sure the sphere should have a Reynolds number less than or equal to 0.2. Coming to the calculations, there you can see that we will be doing one numerical, one basic numerical, like how we are, after implementing all the engineering and science technology, how we are going to calculate this stream out things, and those are, let us read the numerical. It is nothing but calculate the weight of ball of diameter 8 centimeter. Means what you have given, you are given diameter as 8 centimeter, let us convert it into standard unit, that is 0.08 meter, which is just supported by a vertical air stream which is flowing at a velocity of 7 meters per second. So, you are given the weight of the ball, we need to calculate the weight of the ball, that is, what is capital W when this ball is having a diameter of 8 centimeter and it is just supported in a vertical air stream and is moving through a velocity of 7 meters per second, and the specific weight of air is given as 1.25 kg per meter cube. Also, you are given with the viscosity, that is nu, or you can say mu by rho, dynamic viscosity by density is given you as 1.5 Stokes. So, with the help of diameter, velocity, then density, and density means specific weight, in terms of specific weight of air, again kinematic viscosity, like the ratio of dynamic viscosity and density is given to you. We need to calculate the weight of that ball flowing through it. So, here you can see these are the diameter of the ball. Basic thing is that we have known that the particular flow should be having drag and lift section. So, for drag and lift section we have a simple formula, and what it is, although it is written over here, here you can see drag force is nothing but CD area, then density, then half of velocity square. This is how, but we have studied, see where we have studied this in the very early phase itself. There you can see the formula is in this way, or you can see it was CD is equivalent to FD, that is force due to drag, then this is 0.5 rho A u square. So, this is given to you. Now, what we will be doing? We will be replacing this drag force over this CD, and here with the help of these value we will be making further calculations. There you can see you have diameter in 8 centimeter converted into meters, then velocity of air, because ball was spinning in air. So, velocity of air is given to you as 7 meters per second already in the standard unit. Specific weight of air is given as 1.25 kgf per meter cube. Again you are blessed with density of air with the help of specific weight. So, we know specific weight is gamma is nothing but rho g. So, if we are dividing gamma by g, we will be getting density of air. So, with the help of specific weight we are going to calculate the density of air. Specific weight by gravity is given to you as, this value will be density of air. Kinematic viscosity is given 1.5 Stokes. Let us see, yes, it was given in Stoke. Let us convert it into normal standard unit, that is meter square per second. So, for that we have multiplied 10 into 10 to the power minus 5. Now, for that formula you need to have, you have area, then diameter with the help of density you have calculated, you have given. Now, coming to the value CD, how you are going to calculate coefficient of drag friction. So, there you can see we need to calculate Reynolds number first, and with the help of Reynolds number we will be calculating, or we will be setting the range of this CD value. So, first we will be calculating Reynolds number. Reynolds number is being calculated with the help of velocity, diameter and kinematic viscosity, which is given to you, that is mu u velocity, diameter and kinematic viscosity. Calculated value is given over here. Since the Reynolds number is 3730, that is it lies between 1000 to 1 lakh, you can see that the range, you can check from the range, Reynolds number lying between 1000 to 1 lakh, you will be taking CD as 0.5, or coefficient of drag will be considered as 0.5. So, we will be calculating CD as 0.5. Now, everything is known to you, that is CD as 0.5, it is an error you can see, and then area with the help of diameter, you can see sphere, diameter you can calculate, then again density you have calculated it as 0.1744, this is this value you can see, and then velocity is always given to you 7 by 2 this value. After calculating this value you are getting it as something in terms of kgf, that is 0.00 into 7843 kgf. This is how you can see we have calculated drag force, or you can see it is a simple formula, but the basic science behind it was that there is a force whenever a body travels within the fluid, it experiences two sections, it experiences a force, and that particular force is being split up into two directions. Let us suppose Let us suppose this is fluid over here, there is a fluid and this is the free surface, and again there comes a body. Let us consider this is a spherical body. So, this body will experience a force, and that particular force will be resolving into two directions, or that the force will be acting in two directions, one perpendicular and another one horizontal to this plane or to this surface area. So, to calculate the total force acting in this body, we will be calculating perpendicular force in a different mode, that is lift force, and the one acting horizontally or in the direction of flow will be termed as drag force. And these forces will be giving you the exact amount of force experienced by a body when it is flowing through a fluid. So, if you generalize the thing, this is how in this lecture generalization of drag and lift is being covered, and we have covered various type of examples, like in our daily day-to-day life, cross pollination, you can see aeroplanes, you can see flight of an aeroplane, that is. Then again what else is there, ships moving over there, or you can see windmills, and then even the easiest one where you can see the essence or role of drag and lift is the one when the cold breeze touches your face. That there is a reason or there is a discussion about this entire section, and that is drag and lift being acted on the face. That is all for today's lecture. Thank you.